Hey guys, welcome to another session of FFBE Global News. So, Folka is here this week. That's actually great news. She's one of the best healers so far in game. I would say actually at this current meta where we are right now on global, I would probably say she's the strongest healer in terms of utility and usability. Now, I do have to say, I know that some of you kind of anticipated Folka coming, and I actually got a comment on YouTube. Before, when I was doing this on JP, I had like one thing. When I was doing this on JP, there was no 7-star meta in global yet, so I didn't have like the full view of the 7 stars. I was really new to JP, and so I did like this initial kind of like an overview of Folka, and I actually gave her a really bad review. I would have to say, like, I would retract that in a heartbeat if I could go back in time, because like one of the major things I was saying that she's so bad because like all her skills pretty much cost a ton of MP, not knowing that the 7-star meta MP you can get really high anyway. So like it's MP to the unit, like in a ratio format, it's actually not that much MP. Plus she's known as an MP power plant, and now understanding her kit a bit better, how her TMR works with her, how other gear, like what other gears are available to actually make her really good. She's actually a really good healer. On JP, I also did mention, I'll say this right off the bat, the only thing that was lacking for her in her kit to me was an AoE raise. So for Fina and Ayaka at the time, I mean, these two are probably the competitors with Folka once Folka is released. She's only missing an AoE raise, that's it. But it's actually not that terrible if you really think about it. Most of the time, your magic tank or your physical tank is going to be covering an AoE hit anyways, and if they're dead, if they die, the rest of your team members don't, and most likely they're going to have a re-raise stuck on them. Very rarely you're going to run into a situation where you actually do an AoE raise and still be able to survive the next turn, because once you AoE raise, let's say your tanks, they can't cover for that turn. You can't set up other skills in that turn. So AoE raise actually is not as necessary as I originally thought when I was reviewing her on JP. So I will now retract that officially. So for those of you who were watching my JP videos before and you're just like, well, man, Jake, you have no idea what you're talking about, I totally admit it. I was wrong. Folka is top tier healer. I would say if you're gonna ask like, hey Jake, should I pull on this even if I have Ayaka and Fina, I would say yes. I myself, I'm kind of debating on it. You know what, I skip Sighart, and that's a big deal for me because Sighart is a wonderful physical tank. I give him like 9.9 out of 10. That's how high I rate him. The only thing that bothers me is the provoke turn count, but it doesn't really matter. In terms of healer, right now I would rank, if you have Ayaka, Fina, and Folka, I would rank Folka first, maybe Fina second, and then Ayaka third. Yes, I know some people, they have the big debate, like who's better, Fina or Ayaka. In terms of what I need for utility, I find Fina better than Ayaka. The reason is because Fina has an AoE re-raise, which is a big deal for me, and that's why I use Rem so much, even though Rem is technically not a healer. She doesn't have a lot for a healer. She lacks a ton of stuff that's healer, but she has a turn 1 AoE re-raise, which is just amazing. That's why I rate Rem pretty high. If you do want to actually put Rem into this healer competition, I would say Folka first. Maybe still Fina or Rem tied at second, and then Ayaka. Again, I think Fina for me is a wonderful one because one, she can entrust as well for a healer. That's really good. They're just turns where you're not doing something, and then entrusting is just amazing. And then of course the elemental resistance, which is just awesome. Folka also brings some elemental resistance. Obviously, I think you guys can guess that she would bring water elemental resistance because she is, a water. Her lore. She's Veritas of the waters, right? So let's actually get into it right now. Let's quickly look at the banner itself. From my recollection, I think they have changed it over time. I don't know when they applied this change, but the 1 times rate, and then the 2 times rate, and then the 5 times rate. This wasn't in the original, like the first 11k lapis step up. I believe it wasn't. I might have to look back into the archives, and you guys might be able to just say, hey, yeah, quickly, like, yeah, Jagan, you're wrong. It was always been like this. But I remember complaining about this originally because I was comparing the step up banners to JP, and I know that JP for the 11k they always had a 1.5 at the beginning 2 times and then a 5 times, and so it seems that maybe they did this for Sigurd as well, but it seems that they're doing this here. So all in all, it's pretty good. I personally don't know if, you know, if you have a limited resources, you're strapped for it. Even if you get, let's say, 2 Folka by step 3, and if you ask like, hey Jagan, should I pull this step 5, and you had like some lapis, I would say no, don't. But that's my personal opinion. The STMR is excellent, I have to say. It's really good, but I don't know if it's worth pulling for an STMR at this point, unless you're a whale. Again, I don't know myself, like, am I going to be pulling on it? Like I said, I might be pulling on limited, but you know, it's so hard to get the exact off banner unit you want. You know, you pull on the banner, right? And since like the rates are pretty good here, I don't know. But as you can see, I'm at 31,000 lapis on top there. I think I got like 4,000 lapis over the past 2 weeks without pulling. So I think, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe a couple tickets. I'll have to see. You know, some people are laughing at me. He's like, hey Jagan, you always say that you're not gonna pull it, but you pull. But I have changed over time, guys. You guys have realized I didn't pull on the FF7 banner. Not to brag, but you know, my dedication to this game is not 100% in terms of like, you know, how much resources I want to spend on it. But I still love talking about it, theory crafting about it. So anyways, let's get into it. So yes, Job is Sworn 8, like I said, she's Veritas of the Waters. Spoilers, if you guys didn't know that. Hopefully you guys know that by now, actually. I just realized I should have put a spoiler disclaimer at the beginning there. Of course, these are only 5-star base unit on this banner here. Super Trust Master, here we go. So 150 MP, which is really good. 166 Spirit, excellent. And then 30% MP, and then 50% water resistance. Now, the 150 MP seems to be a new addition to Global. It's funny though, I'm not 100% sure because I never pulled for her STMR on JP, and in fact, I just recently got Folka 7-star on JP on EX ticket pulls. But I'm not sure if her Super Trust Master always had the 150 MP. I don't think it did. I think it used to be just 12 attack, 166 Spirit, 30% MP, and then 50% water resistance. Now, why I say that this is a really good STMR is because let's say you want to run your healer with dual wield. Okay, dual wield Ayaka's STMR, dual wield this STMR. You're gonna have an insane healer. Arguably, you would never need that much spirit. You would never need like something like over 1,000 spirit to like full heal 25,000 HP. That's based on my experience, and I think the math works out that way. But the 50% water resistance is super good, especially for future trials. A ton of future trials actually need really high, extremely high water resistance, and that's why her STMR, you gel that with like Nicole's TMR, so CG Nicole, Maritime Strategist Nicole's TMR, 100% water resistance right off the bat. That's really high. That's only 2 pieces of equipment, so you can see that if you do get lucky and you get an STMR out of this run, it's a really good payoff. Plus, if I am correct that the 150 MP is a bonus here, it's super good on Folka. Yes, Folka still actually uses a ton of MP, and we're gonna get into a couple of her skills, but she has an MP battery, really good MP battery, as good and even better than Rem. Okay. Alright, so anyways, Trust Mastery is Hero's Vow Water. Boost MP and Spirit by 30%, and then boost LB gauge fill rate, restore MP every turn. So it has a little addition to, so most heroes vow TMRs, so like Reagan, Citrus, they all total to be about 60% of the passive, whether it is a full passive or it's a split passive. If I remember correctly, Sigurd's is 30% MP, 20% Spirit, 20% defense. His might be the only different one, and then with some earth resistance. His might be the only other one that's like has an additional thing to it. This one has a restore MP per turn, has the additional there, but otherwise, like let's say Citra's TMR is a 60% spirit, but also negative 30% dark resist, so you lose some dark resistance. This has an MP spirit split, which, you know, like I said, healers don't necessarily need super high spirit. I would say like something like Citra's TMR is well better used for evokers and magic tanks over healers, because healers, again, they have really extremely high spirit passives anyway, like most of our healers here, and then at their 7-star is just more insane. So again, her TMR is pretty good. You know, if she had some water resistance in here, like kind of like Sighart's TMR, this would be broken. So I'm kind of glad they didn't have it, but you know, it would have been nice. It just would have been nice, even, you know, same levels as Sighart's Earth resistance. That would have been cool, I think. But I would take the MP per turn. Her trust ability, she doesn't have full status ailment protection. I think she lacks petrify or stone. But if you get her to a 7-star and you actually, you know, put her TMR on, which, you know, why wouldn't you? You get a ton of passives. You get 20% defense, spirit, HP, MP, and then 100% status ailment to all ailments. So you cover all of them. So it's actually really good. Whereas like even something like Ayaka's TMR on her, she doesn't get all status ailment protection, nor does Fina. So this is actually really good, and you get 1 LB per turn. So of course her Trust Mastery really works well with her. We're going to cover the featured abilities here, and then I'm going to talk about her kit here on the wiki, and then tell you guys like kind of like how to use her, I think. So Cerulean Shield here is a 20% magic damage mitigation for 1 turn, but it's AoE, so it's supportive. I think recall that's 20%. It's magic damage mitigation, and then a 2,500 HP AoE heal with an 18 times mod. That's a Karaja, all right. But it's available once from turn 1, but you use once every 2 turns. So that's really good. So it's damage mitigation for 1 turn, but once used every 2 turns, so 1 turn cooldown. You'd pretty much run, if you had the MP, you'd pretty much just run this and her other guard, which is called Serpent Guard, which is the opposite of this. It's a 20% physical damage mitigation and all the other same healing mods. So it's a Karaja with a damage mitigation, so it really helps survivability. Like, it's insane. The last one is Ancient Aquarium. It's a CD skill, of course not found on here. I'm reading from the wiki. 20% regular damage mitigation for 1 turn as well. So every damage mitigation for 1 turn with a Karaja stack to it, but it's a 4-turn cooldown. So available on turn 5. So it takes more time, and it seems that it gives 10%. No, it costs 120 MP, but it also it costs 10 LB crystals. That's at least according to the JP wiki here. Teardrop is really good. AoE 180 MP recovery using your LB gauge. This is the exact same skill as Rem's 7-star level 110 skill MP conversion. Costs the same, recovers the same amount of MP. It's AoE, so it includes herself. So something that, you know, that I find like that's lacking in, let's say, Fina's kit. Her MP recovery skill, yes, it gives an instant AoE MP for the entire team except herself, but then it has MP over time. It's good, but something like this, 180 is no joke. Like, let's take something like KH Cloud right now. If you use Continuum Cut, I think it costs like 62 or 68 MP per cut, and you dual cast that. 180 MP is going to get you right on track again. It's just like if nothing ever happened. And then keep in mind that her TMR has an LB fill rate included in it, right? So it's going to, you know, 10 crystals is not too much. 10 crystals is not too much. It's gonna pretty much give her MP recovery for the entire team. Almost every turn you can have a spare turn, right? So it's really good. She also has a single target one available at a 6-star. The AoE one is available at a 7-star, also level 110, just like Rem. But the 6-star one is a single target 210 MP recovery for 8 LB crystals. So it costs even less, but more MP. But it's single target. That's the only draw. So it's really, she's really versatile. In her 6-star form, she already has a dual castable skill, which in 6-star she can dual cast, and she can dual cast a ton of her skills. All the CD skills I talked about, she can dual cast it, and she can dual cast these ones. I want to talk about this flowing waters one. In the JP wiki right now, it's called Water of Fluidity, so it's the same one, but I'm pretty sure the JP wiki will update the English name when this is released here. So boost resistance to poison, blind, sleep, silence, and stop. Reductions of defense and spirit for all allies. So not only does it have break resistance, it has stop resistance, and it has half of the status ailments in one skill. Now keep in mind, this does cost 64 MP, but a long time ago I was talking to Mortrix on who has the highest base MP, and Folka has the highest base MP, following that Rem. So in our current meta, what's available to us right now, Folka has the highest. With pots and passives, she has 746 MP. 746 MP. That's insane. You put some of her TMR on. That's not including TMRs, right? That's just pots and passives, innate pots and passives. Put a TMR on, you slap on a couple other ones, like maybe let's say you put on Rem's TMR for survivability, HP and MP split, bam, you get like 1000 MP super quick. Plus, if you do manage to pull her STMR, 150 MP right away with a 30% MP. So you're really not gonna run out. That's what I meant by, like, I really didn't do her justice. But of course, this is talking about a 7-star pots and passives, right? We get almost twice the amount of MP when you go 7-star in terms of potting room, and then of course the passives just become more insane. But Water of Fluidity, that's half of the status ailment. So you're like, hey Jagan, what is up with the other half? Now, if you haven't done the research, she also has another one. So if this one's called Flowing Waters, I don't know what the other one's called. So the JP one's called Water of Fluidity, and the other skill is called Water of Sanity. So I'm not quite sure. Sanity waters? I don't know. Clairvoyant waters? I'm gonna go on a limb and just start making up names. Clairvoyant waters. Alright, I'm gonna call it that. Alright? So $100 to me if I got that name right. Alright? If I didn't get that name right, I lose nothing. But leave a like on the video. just kidding. Waters of Sanity is the opposite of this. Also costs 64 MP like Flowing Waters here, but it causes the other side. So paralysis, confusion, disease, petrify, resist for 5 turns, as well as an AoE 100% resistance to charm, and then 100% resistance to attack and magic breaks also for 5 turns. Okay, you can kind of see where I'm going with this, right? For the meta, like, you could just think about like all the trials up to date, how annoying it was to bring, like, let's say the Antinola trial. If you didn't 1-turn KO, if you did it like me, you know, you actually did it on the first day with like the 6-star meta, or even Malboro trial, the new Malboro trial. There's stop, there's charm. Like, if you have Folka in there, it makes that thing laughable, completely laughable. Full status ailment protection, dual casted. Remember, it's dual castable for 5 turns. That means once you dual cast those, right? Once you dual cast those, 128 MP out the window. But she has 746 base MP. She could recover MP by the time she has another turn. But those are for 5 turns, guys. 5 turns. Break resist also included. No more running like, let's say, Veritas of the Earth for like you know, combo where he can provoke and then also do a status break, protect and stuff like that. No more. It's all in Folka right now. All in Folka. I cannot say how sorry I am for giving her such a bad job. That's what happens when you don't do your research and you're just like, oh yeah guys, this is what I think about her. Like, no one cared about what I thought before. She's really good. Okay, yeah, really good. She has other skills, really important. AoE 100% water resist for 2 turns with an AoE 40 MP recover. That's an insane combo. You talk about bringing someone with the AoE like 100% resist, like elemental resist. You're just like, oh man, that's fantastic. Okay, that's fantastic. But a 40 MP recover. This is why she's called a nuclear power plant. Everything she does pretty much just gives MP. She has a single target skill. Oh no, sorry, AoE. Sorry, AoE skill. Reduce 75% water resist for 2 turns and AoE 30% attack with a 10% MP drain. So if she's lacking and you want to imperil an AoE enemies, imperil water resistance, you just use this, right? You have a 10% MP drain with a 30% attack. Now, of course, you wouldn't do that much damage. But I'm supposing this might be a spirit scaled skill. It doesn't say it here, but I'm supposing it has to be. Otherwise, the 30% attack with 10% MP drain. It might be really low. She might really get no MP out of it, but it has a AoE water imperil. Incredible. She has another skill, so this is not magic. So let's say later on in trials, I believe bosses can actually seal your magic, so you can't use magic, but you can use skills. So it's really important actually to talk about skills that can heal. She has one called Water Screen. It's an AoE 1800 HP heal with a 10 times mod. So it looks like a Kuraga-ish, maybe higher than Kuraga, with an AoE 100% MP heal with a 0 times mod split over 3 turns. So arguably you're getting 33 MP per turn if you use this skill, right? I think the healing is also 3 turns, so it's part of the sentence. I think it's also part of it. So heal with MP regen over 3 turns, and this is incredible stuff. Let me double check if you can dual cast this. Yeah, you can dual cast it. You can dual cast it, man. I'm just amazed how good she is. Actually, the more I talk about her, the more I think that I'm gonna break my limited pull rule and actually might pull for her. I actually might pull for her. It'd be super salty if I don't get her though at a 7-star. So that's the only thing. Like, you know, these 11k step ups, they could do really well, and they can totally ruin your life, or ruin your day rather. I don't want to exaggerate it. Let's talk about a bit of her passives. I'm gonna spend the majority of this video talking about Folka. So I've actually set aside time because she is really good. She is really good. Let's stay on this for the image as I'm reading here. So passive abilities, 5-star all the way to 6-star. If you're gonna if you just get one of her, she's actually not bad still. She's not bad. The only thing is, like, she doesn't get the best MP recovery skills, but she's not bad. She has all the water screen, MP overtime. She has the water resistance with the AoE MP fill right away. She gets a single target LB MP recovery. She just doesn't get the LB the AoE one that Rem has. And she doesn't get the damage mitigation. That's all she's missing from her 7-star kit in terms of like actual usable skills. I just heard the music kind of stop there. No idea what happened. I thought it shut off on me. So anyways, 5-star to 6-star. All her passives, I'm gonna go through them. So 20% MP, you get a 50% spirit when you equip with a staff, and also a 50% water resistant when using a staff. And obviously, I think you would really use a staff. Let me see it. Equipable item: staff, rod, harp or instrument, mace and daggers. So it could be good with dual wielding Bowie knife if you got high tide on there as well. Actually, that's a good could be a good build. Because she doesn't have dual wield innate, so like, would you sacrifice any slot to give her dual wield to dual wield a staff? I'm not quite sure, but I think if you have a Bowie knife, let's say with high tide and really high spirit passives, or even MP passives, it might be really good on her. So I would definitely recommend that as a build. And of course, if you're lucky enough to pull her STMR or Ayaka's STMR, Holy Wand, any number of staffs is good enough. But yeah, she gets a water resistance 50% with her staff. If I remember correctly, she has an innate 100% water resist. Although sadly, without their armor, the Veritas no longer absorb the element that they're dealt with, but they do get 100% of their their specialty resistance. Reagan, I think he gets a split of fire and ice, but not 100%. But Sigurd gets 100% earth at least, and then she gets 100% water if I'm not mistaken. But let me continue. Water God Whisperer, 10% HP, 20% MP, and a 5% MP per turn. Yeah, so her in terms of like I think just MP per turn, she really gets 10% only with her TMR, of course. TMR in this passive, so 10% only. It might be very little, but again, like I said, she has so much MP and so much MP recovery skills. You're never gonna run out. So you know, don't sweat it. She gets a 30% MP at 6-star and another 30% MP at 6-star. This is really cool. This is a really cool skill. At a 6-star, she has anti-disease. It's a counter skill. Whether she gets hit attacked by physical attack or magic attack, she has a 20% chance to proc anti-disease, which cures all ailments to all party members. So not only does she have the ability to cure all status ailments, I think she can't. The only thing she can't cure by herself is petrify. I remember now. Yeah. So she can't cure petrify. So once you're petrified, you can't cure it unless you actually proc the counter. But it's not hard to keep, you know, the resistance up. 5-turn resistance is just way too friendly. But if you do somehow mess up your turn rotations and someone does get petrified, if she gets hit, if you build her tanky and she gets hit, whether it's physical or magic damage, 20% chance to proc cure all status ailments, then that would include stone or petrify. So you really have your full healer here, like a complete kit. Dual magic, of course, she has. And then she has Maiden's Prayer, so by 6-star she can dual cast her skills, and most of the skills I've read above and explained, she can dual cast them. I might be missing one or two, but it's not that many. I think she can dual cast most of them, like almost all of them. I think the only one she actually can't do... Oh, no. She can even dual cast her MP recovery skills, the LB ones. So it's amazing. It's really amazing. By 7-star, she gets, of course, her Trust passive, if you get it. By level 115, she doesn't get a level 110 skill, apparently. Yeah, she doesn't. That's surprising to me. Usually by level 110, you get a new skill. But level 115, she gets another 20% passive for Spirit. And by level 120, max level, she has 50% defense, 50% Spirit, and a 50% LB gauge fill rate. So she has 100% total LB gauge fill rate, including her TMR. With the LB fill per turn, 1 LB fill per turn with her trust ability. So see, she's nuts. I think if you build her with high spirit, I don't think you even need to worry about the MP, like arguably. 7,386 HP. That's passive. I think you could build her really like stack with a ton of HP stuff. So if you're gonna give her spirit or MP, definitely do like Rem's TMR. What's her name? Crow's TMR or Crow. Maybe Awaken Rain's TMR, stuff like that. Unless you got STMRs already, then maybe like Bosch's STMR, 50% HP, 30% Spirit. Elfrida's STMR, stuff like that. Build her with HP in mind, but with other passives included. So I wouldn't go with like, let's say Citra's TMR. I would say like no, you know, don't bother. She'll have enough LP gauge fill rate. She'll have like a ton of stuff going for her. So build her with HP because I arguably want her to be as tanky as possible to have the off chance of countering her anti-disease if you run into a problem, right? So like I said, she doesn't have an AoE raise, but she does have re-raised. She has full life, which is all good. She has Kuraja, of course, Isunaga, which does not include a petrification, but every other status ailment you can cure. She does have Debranaga, Depronaga, Defaith Naga, and Deshell Naga. So a remove attack debuff, defense debuff, magic debuff, spirit debuff. So I mean, that's when I ran Aiko. Or Aiko. I call her Aiko, but I know you guys are butchering my pronunciation. That's why I ran her, so I can remove the debuffs. But again, like I said, there's no reason for you to be defense or attack or spirit or magic broken because you got the resistance for 5 turns. So it's the same thing with petrification. Like if you're still getting petrified, you're doing something wrong in her rotations. 5 turns is a lifetime in terms of FFBE, right? By the time you cast those skills 5 times, you're at 25 turns within the trial. It should be over by now. It should be over by now, unless you're like using like just demon rain to solo counter or something ridiculous. But it is like that. It's pretty crazy. She does have water jaw though. It's kind of funny. She does have water jaw, so if you wanted to give her some magic, you know, do some magic damage, she can, but she has extremely low magic passives. 194 is not going to get you really much anywhere. Of course she could dual wield rods, but like, why would you do it? It's not a chaining skill. But you know, I suppose if you're thinking like, well, you know, she can imperil 75% water damage. I think arguably the only reason she has it is because we have to continue the lore, right? It's kind of weird if she doesn't have a water damaging skill. If she had something like CG Nicole, where CG Nicole at 7-star gets flood, she would be an incredible healer. Not only does she have everything, she can chain water too. That'd just be ridiculous. So I understand that why she doesn't have it. I want to talk a bit about her. Okay, so one thing to note is that she also has enhancements on JP. On enhancements on JP, I think she gets like even insane healing mods. So I'm gonna kind of wrap into it. I won't talk about it completely. I don't think it's necessary to talk about everything. So on JP, it seems that the MP is lowered if you +2, even if you +1. MP lowers up to a 58 MP, so much more manageable. But everything remains at 5 turns for her sanity water and her water of fluidity or whatever, flowing waters. But you also get a healing mod, HP heal mod over time, and the other one you also get an HP barrier. So that's insane. 6,500 HP heal over 5 turns. Wow. So it's like a bit over 1,000 HP over 5 turns with a 0 times mod, so your spirit won't scale it, but it's over 1,000 HP per turn. And then the other skill has a AoE 2,000 HP barrier for 5 turns. She's good. She's really good, guys. Her passive, that the one with the equipped staff, 50% spirit. With enhancement, she gets 100% spirit +2. What the heck? Her counter skills gets an enhancement too, 40% counter chance instead of a 20%. Yeah, that's the change. By +1 it becomes 30%. By +2 it becomes 40%. It's insane, right? Okay, so by 6-star LB, I want to talk about the LB here. It's an insanely high crystal cost LB, I have to say. It's 100% HP recovery. This is the 6-star. 100% HP recovery, so it doesn't matter how much HP you have. It's just instant. Cure all stats ailments. AoE remove any debuff. So defense, attack, magic, spirit, charm, stop. And then also a 90% water resist for 3 turns. But it costs 56. Alright. So what if you entrust it to Folka, it's way better. By her 7-star max level, she gets a reduced cost on the crystals. I don't think anything changes in terms of what happens in LB. By 7-star, she already has a 100% water resistance, even at level 1 LB. But if you wanted to make it cost 53 LB crystals, then you want to max it. I wouldn't bother, to be honest. Actually no, you have to. For the HP recovery 100%, you need to max it. In terms of LB to max, like with all the units have like really good LBs, I don't think hers is one that you need to max. Arguably the 50% HP recovery is nice to have, but she has so much healing potential in her kit already with the amount of base spirit she has. I don't know if I actually read it. With pots and passives, she has a 561 base spirit. She should be good. Like, I don't think you would need the 100% HP recovery. And again, by the time that you will fill that that LB 53, arguably you would have like, let's say Lauren as a breaker, or like later Oron, you would not LB fill rate on them too, so they'll be siphoning some of the LB crystals that drop anyway. So for you to wait for 100% HP recovery for Folka to, let's say, save your life, it's way too long anyway for it to be worth it. So I myself, I think if you 7-star her, think twice before you max her LB. But I would do your own research and see how you would use her. Maybe experiment with her at her 56 LB crystal cost LB, and see how long it takes to fill it. I would run a potential team of, you know, a breaker with LB fill rate gear, maybe a tank. It depends on what tank you're using that needs LB. Let's say you're using like Merc Ramza, you want to use Entrust on him, maybe he has LB fill rate gear, but then you would entrust it to Folka if you needed it. So yeah, stuff like that. The rest of the stuff I'm not going to talk about. I spent so much time on Folka, 35 minutes on Folka right now. You can tell how incredibly happy I am about this release. I talk about the Trust Mastery here really quick. Attack 40% and then boost physical damage against plants. I was recently asked on Discord, someone was asking, hey Jagan, like which TMRs give 40% attack? We're in the 40% attack meta right now, where the 4-stars all give 40% attack. So we're almost at the point where 30% attack is like no longer used, unless it's like someone like, let's say, PG Laswell's TMR, which you're stuck with the 30% attack. But of course he gains attack passives from his trust ability, so you know it's not a loss there. But in terms of like, let's just say flat 40% attack, this is nice to have. It has a physical plant killer, so 50% versus plants. So keeping all of these different 40% attack materia is going to be helpful in the long run. We got ones with like some immunity to like petrification and paralysis. You get killers now which is good, because you can always use more killers, and with a 40% attack passive on it. So let's say like you run a heal and someone's told you, hey Jagan, set up a heal for me so I can take on the Marlboro trial. No longer will I need to waste 2 slots, like one plant killer plus and the other one just plant killer. If I get Reaper of the Dust Storm here, I get a 40% attack with the 50% plant killer, which of course just benefits way more. We're not going to look at the kit. Let's move on. Necklace, Kahana's necklace, 40 spirit. I'm thinking right now, is that even good? I mean, it's rated at a 7-star here. Unless you're lacking spirits, you know, flat spirit accessories, I would run something like Vanille's TMR still. 30% spirit, so Magistral Crest, 30% spirit, 30% magic, something like that. I would still run it more than this, so I would actually rate this really low. Just thinking right off the top of my head, I know not a lot of TMRs, not STMRs. TMRs have like a 40 spirit right there, but unless you're running like, let's say, Grimoire Sakura's STMR and then other TMRs that have spirit, like TDH spirit passives, you won't get too much out of it, I think. So I would definitely say not that great. This is interesting. 125 attack, water elemental fist. It's nice to have. You can use this on Tifa, which is recently released. I mean, just released last week. Use this on her since she can imperil water, but then arguably she can imbue as well. But I guess you don't need to waste a turn. If you don't have a better attack knuckle, you can use this, or someone that can elemental chain. Have a water elemental option here. But of course he's a 3-star, so if you're pulling for Folka, arguably I think you're gonna get a couple of him. Anyways, that's my thoughts for the banner. And of course, with Folka's release, we get our story event. So this week we're gonna combine a King Mog event with a story event. Both will cost energy here, so balance out your energy well. Of course, you saw on top we're gonna get a UOC ticket. So I've said this time and time again, Gumi has done well in terms of giving us UOC tickets almost once per event, which is good. It's good. I think we really need it in the 7-star meta. So I mean, if you want to say like, hey man, you know, they're doing injustice on the step up banner, I will give them credit. They're giving you a unit of choice. So instead of you even pulling on a better step up banner, which is still RNG, so even if they gave us like a JP step up banner, you can still get really screwed, right? But if they give us slowly, time and time again, unit of choice tickets, at least you get the unit you want for sure. But it just takes a lot of time. So with the unit of choice being released so rapidly, I would say that, you know, it's way better in terms of like, you don't really have to worry about pulling on canon banners, but just pull on limited banners. So now I've kind of talked myself back into not pulling for the Folka, because I'm just thinking I can just UOC her. But I don't know what I'll do. Limited equipment, not that great. 15% wind and earth resistance on a weapon. That's good. That's good to have. Water priestess's choker, water resistance by 30%. Oh, actually very good. And restore MP every turn. Very good. And a 15% MP. It's really good for a new player, and it will be used, mark my words, for a veteran player in the later trials. Anyways, enjoy the story event and have fun. Folka's unit intro quest, and for sure I'm gonna do her justice this time. Before in JP, when I was talking about her review, I did it with the unit intro quest, hardly knowing her, and then just giving her a bad rap. This time I'm gonna make it up. All right, I'm gonna make it up for her. A lot of people are like, she's CG waifu. Yeah, modest waifu in comparing to Citra. Citra had large assets, but Folka is like kind of like the elegant one. 100 lapis for the clear. Limit burst, you get 1 ticket. Don't they usually give 2 tickets? No, probably 1 ticket. It's so easy, it's free pretty much. Magic pot for using water screen, and use flowing waters, you get a star quartz. Yes, so look forward to this. Of course I will keep one for the record here. I do 1 unit intro per release, a video for it. I like to collect it because at least knowing in JP they stopped doing unit intro quests for all their CG units, which is kind of sad. It's kind of nice to have, you know, something to look forward to when there's a CG unit release. But yeah, we won't get it after the, I think Axstar is the last one. And to end off our week here, we have the FF7 event closing. It's an exploration, Gaia's Cliff. Schizo? Is this Schizo? No. Shizo? Shizo? Let's see here. You can reduce boss's defense and spirit. Okay, so make sure you break. Beware of ability to reduce your party's resistance to fire, earth, and lightning. Make sure you come prepared with status ailments or status reductions. Interesting. If you pulled Folka and you run this, I think this should be super easy. But it should be easy anyway. The only time that I bit my tongue saying that is easy and it wasn't was, I think, this Sephiroth exploration boss. I actually died to that a couple of times, and you know, I have that video on YouTube. I didn't complete all missions because I almost died. So I can't say like, oh yeah guys, it's gonna be super easy. I have no idea. I've never done this one on JP, so I don't know. Let's see what we get. Mission rewards, complete the quest, boost fire, ice, lightning resistance by 30%. Alright, we're getting to the good stuff here, guys. This is definitely usable. Like I was saying, you need a ton of elemental resistance later on. It's always good to have, so that's really good. This is a week of really good event items. Deal water and lightning damage 3 times or more to an enemy. You get 10,000 of the King Mod currency. No items use water resistance by 20. Definitely a keeper. Defeat Shizo with a limit burst. You get a 5% trust Moogle. And the clearing it, you get or initial clear reward, you get a 5% trust Moogle as well. So 10% right there. Awesome. This is looking good. I'm looking forward to getting those rings. So that's it for the news this week. Let me know if you guys are gonna pull for it. In my opinion, even if you have Fina or Ayaka and you're just like, oh, I have them, they're fine, I would pull for Folka myself. I believe she's more of a game changer than Sigurd was. And the only reason why is because like Sigurd has a lot of competition. Arguably he's still the best physical tank, but I think Folka is the best healer. And you know, a lot of people are saying, hey Jay, and when Aerith is released, like, you know, will she like overtake Folka? I would say that even when Aerith is released, what happens when Aerith is released is that Aerith only pushes Folka down by 1 slot. So I think king healer would be Aerith, but Folka is like right up there. And the only reason why Folka will lose in terms of that is because Aerith brings more survivability than Folka does. However, and I think Aerith has also break reductions, but not status ailment protection. However, Aerith has a huge MP problem that Folka doesn't have. And so for me, both healers are fantastic. Aerith is the next level Ayaka. So when Ayaka came into the meta, in the 6-star meta, she was game changing. It's almost like you have to have her. Aerith is kind of like the Ayaka of the 7-star, but Folka is such a different type of healer that you would want her anyway. So once you have Aerith and Folka, I would say you would almost never run Fina and Ayaka. That's my view on it. So even in terms of Ayaka got her enhancements, that's just not up to par in terms of next level healers anymore. Now Fina's enhancements come with Folka's enhancements if they're gonna follow JP's timeline, so that's a story for another time. But I would still say that Folka is I would say she would be my choice. Like if there are cases where you don't need to run insane like re-raising and you know what Aerith brings to the table, I would say Folka is good enough. Alright, so anyways, that's my thoughts on this, and hopefully this has been helpful. As usual, I love making these news videos and love hearing your guys' thoughts on it. So if you guys have Discord, check out the Discord server, follow me on Twitter, and subscribe to YouTube if you haven't. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.